Well, what
Fournier.
about should with Wiseman? Just real fast, because that's going to be not a controversial one, but the Pistons invested 4 draft picks essentially in him, essentially Sadiq Bey in him. Are they indebted to keep him just to make amends? Now, this front office has shown the willingness to, try to make something out of very little by giving Isaiah Stewart that contract. Remember, one of the reasons they signed him was to quote unquote salvage that draft class. Do you think that they would sign Wiseman to a low? I mean, obviously not going to pick up an option or anything like that, but sign him just to save face a little bit for that trade, or would they just cut bait?
I've said this on a few occasions now, and I do still think it's the case. I don't think James Wiseman should be on the team next year. However, I do think the Pistons will bring him back. I do think they will re-sign him because the way that they've spoken about him, they have a very, very clear affinity and belief in him. Whether they're right or wrong, it's up to that's subjective, whatever. I think he will be back. I personally would not bring him back. I don't. He had a nice little stretch there in what was it? Beginning of March or whatever, where for a week or two,
Correct. Yeah.
like a real NBA player, and there were like some signs of legitimate growth. And since then, it's kind of just reverted back to yes, he'll get a nice block every once in a while, but other than that, really doesn't do anything for me. And when you're talking about financial commitments to guys, James Wiseman's contract right now is $12 million. If you're talking about picking up his option and paying him double digit millions annually, that's an absolute no for me. If you're bringing him back on a much, much, much smaller deal, and as the third center, you're bringing in another center behind Duran, that would be at least more acceptable to me. But in my mind, what I'm envisioning is I'm seeing the Pistons bringing him back and bringing him back with the idea that he's going to be the team's backup center next year. And look, you tried, whether you were right or wrong for trying, you did, and it has not worked out. There has not been a legitimate enough amount of growth from Wiseman over a consistent period of time that should give you the confidence that he can play 15, 20 minutes a night, or then step in and start for a center in Jalen Duren that has missed time throughout his career and be playing big minutes. He just hasn't shown he can do that. He doesn't have the defensive capabilities. He gets in foul trouble when he's playing heavy minutes. It's just really not a true possibility to me. But at the same time, I could see the Pistons, if the same decision makers are still in charge, bringing him back.